From getting triggered to a congratulations on your baby bump,
Congrats on your little bump.
to having a public fallout with co-star Justin Baldoni, to getting exposed for being a mean girl,
But I can't act with a monkey. Then I got a few of them.
it's safe to say people are turning against Blake Lively. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Alana here, and the tea is piping hot. It's scandalous, and better yet, it's unexpected. Blake Lively getting cancelled isn't something I was expecting to happen in the year 2024, but I guess nothing is off the table when it comes to social media and their justice warrior agenda. There's a lot to unpack here, so I'm going to be clear that there will be a part 2 to this whole mess. I mean, this drama started with It Ends With Us, how insufferable Blake has been throughout this entire press tour for the movie, having a public fallout with a co-star, getting exposed by an interviewer, and now the internet has been digging down into Blake's past, her so-called mean girl persona that stems way back to her Gossip Girl times, and so much more. So let's get on this journey together and stay for the end to see my opinion about this whole thing. I was someone who actually loved Blake Lively up until this moment, and while I won't jump on the hate bandwagon, I too am a social media justice warrior, and if Blake needs to get a humbling, you can bet she'll get a good one here on this channel. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe, follow us on our social media, please tell us your thoughts down below, we are very interested in hearing your opinion, and yes, all opinions are welcomed here, even the ones that disagree with us. Make sure to check out our merch if you want to rock some cool designs, and without further ado, let's begin. It Ends With Us. I'm going to start in chronological order from when the hate started. It Ends With Us, a movie that not even I could have predicted was going to end Blake's sweetheart image in the eyes of social media. I guess it really did end with us. It Ends With Us is based on Colleen Hoover's popular 2016 novel that went viral on TikTok within the book talk community. The novel was a blockbuster, selling more copies than the Bible in 2022. Everyone I knew was reading it. The way that it was everywhere was actually what deterred me from reading it. I figured a book jumping this far up the ladder had to have something wrong with it. And while Colleen ended up receiving a good amount of hate for her books mixed in with the praise, most people who read the book actually liked it. If you haven't read the book yet and want to read it, skip 2 minutes from now. This book is a romance novel that explores the themes of domestic violence and emotional abuse. The book follows a girl named Lily who had just moved and is ready to start her life after college. Lily then meets a guy named Ryle and she falls for him. As she is developing feelings for Ryle, Atlas, her first love, reappears and challenges the relationship between Lily and Ryle. The book received criticism saying that its portrayal selectively condemns the physical abuse endured by Lily, while disregarding the mental abuse. Some people argued that the book glorified such issues and thought the ending was rushed and poorly written. I'm not a book critic, I didn't even read the book, but it's important to know what the book is about because that's what aids in the hate train for Blake. So that's the backstory of the book. Here's where the drama begins. Fans noticed the rift between Blake and Justin when they realized Justin has been absent from much of the film's promotional events in the lead up to the premiere. When the premiere came around, Justin still didn't appear in any pictures with Blake, who was cozied up to the rest of the cast. Justin posed by himself on the red carpet while Blake was posing with her husband Ryan Reynolds and her co-stars. Since Justin and Blake played love interests in the film, it was surprising and suspicious when they neither posed together nor sat together for interviews. It's also important to note that Justin is the director of the film. When people started to notice that something was off with the co-stars, a little bit of digging told us that the majority of the It Ends With Us cast had unfollowed Justin from Instagram, including Blake, Colleen Hoover, and Ryan Reynolds. Since the film's release, fans have been noticing the different approaches that Blake and Justin have been taking while doing the press tour. Blake has been heavily criticized for her tone-deaf red carpet moments and her wardrobe of floral outfits. People said that her approaches to talking about the film were shallow and tone-deaf since the film talks about some heavy and serious themes. During the promo, she launched a hair care line while on the press tour, promoted her beverage brand, and has been extremely dismissive of questions about a survivor's response to the film's themes, all while trying to be under the guise of funny, quirky, and relatable. Let's just say it did not go over well, and we will talk about this. Justin's approach was more traditional but had a more calculative underlining. He made sure to focus on the film's message and used the majority of the press tour to talk about DV issues. He felt connected to Colleen's book because his sister was a survivor of DV. Even though his approach was better than Blake's, I'm saying it now though, that Justin isn't the innocent little director feminist that he's trying to play in interviews. Their issue of butting heads on set were driven by a force of differences in creative direction and power imbalances. As well as being the lead actor, Blake was also a producer of the film. Meanwhile, Justin was not only the director, producer, and star of the film, he owned the production company behind the film, Wafer Studios. On August 6th, Blake shared an interview with E! News that her husband Ryan Reynolds rewrote a key scene in the film. Blake said that Ryan rewrote the rooftop scene without the knowledge of the director or scriptwriter. She said, "The iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows but you." I'm not sure why she thought revealing this was a good idea. It's like, haha, you all thought I improvised my lines, but I actually got my husband to secretly rewrite the scene. And what does Ryan Reynolds know about screenwriting?
Cause look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the does she know about cameras?
I mean, no offense, but he's written a few scenes in the Deadpool movies, and people already complained about the fourth movie having too many outside references. To me, the secret revision of an important scene shows me that Blake was okay with going over Justin's head about key decisions in the film. This revelation makes her out to be someone who doesn't respect other people's roles in group projects, and her admitting that after the film was wrapped up makes me think she was trying to do it to spite Justin. The film screenwriter Christy Hall told People magazine that she found the scene tricky to tackle, and that watching it back she assumed much of the dialogue was improvised by Blake, but then she later found out Ryan rewrote the scene. She claims that it was wonderful, but we all know nobody likes feeling undermined and tricked. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Justin was asked if he would return to direct the sequel, It Starts With Us, and he said, "I think there are better people for that one. I think Blake Lively is ready to direct." While his comment wasn't directly critical, we can't help but notice the not-so-subtle shade.
We do have It Starts With Us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role.
I think there are better people for that one.
Justin.
I think Blake Lively's ready to direct. That's what I think. So, yeah.
He's basically saying that since Blake is going around adding random songs and scenes and having her husband rewrite scripts, she can direct the next one since she's so smart. Since the tense moments between the two seemed so high, people were going back to look at the film's set, trying to catch a bad moment between Justin and Blake. A TikToker was hanging inside what looks like a cafe filming both Justin and Blake on set, and captioned it, "Feel like Gossip Girl having the scoop on It Ends With Us drama." In the video, it looks like there was an argument between the two co-stars. A source spoke to The Hollywood Reporter on August 8th, claiming that there was a fracture among the filmmakers in the post-production process wherein two different cuts of the movie emerged. According to the sources, Blake ordered a separate cut from Shane Reed, who cut her friend Taylor Swift's I Bet You Think About Me video. Now, as much as Blake is insufferable, especially in her I talk about Taylor Swift every 4 minutes era, Justin's own problematic behavior on set surfaced, and it shows there is no innocent party. The Daily Mail published a report alleging that Justin was chauvinistic. Chauvinism is defined as the unreasonable belief in the superiority or dominance of one's group or people who are seen as strong and virtuous while others are considered weak, unworthy, or inferior. That is one bold statement, to say the least. He was also described as borderline abusive during filming, only focusing on the abusive male viewpoint and failing to consider Blake's character's perspective. Page 6 also reported that Justin created an extremely difficult atmosphere on set and made Blake uncomfortable. Then sources told TMZ that Blake felt like Justin fat-shamed her. According to TMZ, Justin has a history of back problems, and when he was required to lift Blake in one of the scenes, he reportedly asked his on-set trainer how much Blake weighed and how he could train to prevent back injury. When Blake, who gave birth to her 4th child in February last year, found out about the question, she felt he was fat-shaming her. "If I were Blake, I'd be insulted by Justin's lack of attention to my character. I'd feel annoyed and also bronze." But then again, if I were Justin and had to deal with Blake's insufferable, quirky personality,
Where's my mom?
horrible wardrobe outfits, random Taylor Swift name drops and songs,
Reputation.
and Deadpool's revisions, I'd also lose my mind. Not only is he starring in the film, he's producing it, directing it, and owns a production company putting it out there. I too would feel like my word is more powerful than others, and to be honest, that's how a lot of Hollywood directors are. It's a cutthroat industry, and you can't expect people to act all humble behind closed doors, which is why I do think there isn't an innocent party involved. Justin continues his problematic journey by making an unusual move, given the circumstances and the movie's themes, when he hires Melissa Nathan, a crisis manager who worked with Johnny Depp. The same Johnny Depp who was involved in a lengthy defamation trial with his ex-wife Amber Heard in 2022. Their case involved allegations of DV, and while the case went in support of Johnny, some people are torn about the decision, still believing Amber was the victim. We have a video covering their trial in depth. If you want to get the real tea about what happened, click right here. Justin's decision to hire Melissa was just odd, because there's already enough controversy with that case, and you would think he would have just hired someone else, especially since there have been many women vocal in supporting Amber, even though the facts are the facts. Like I said, you can check out the video we have on that. While nobody from the cast publicly commented on the rift between castmates and crew at the time, an anonymous source told People magazine, "All is not what it seems. There is much more to the story. The principal cast and Colleen Hoover will have nothing to do with him." The actor who plays Atlas in the movie, Brandon's cleaner, said that he didn't want to comment on the drama because it seemed to be defeating the whole purpose of the film's message about supporting DV victims. He said that it seemed silly to him, and he went on a rant defending Colleen Hoover and the women behind the cast and saying that he stands for hope, perseverance, and for women choosing a better life for themselves. He doesn't necessarily make more note of what went down, but he spoke recently. Someone who claims to have been an extra on set said, "Justin was literally the nicest person ever." So do with those two narratives as you would. I'm choosing to believe he isn't an innocent fairy, and it's not that I don't believe that he can be nice, but something about him gives hidden agenda. He had posted a letter he wrote to domestic violence survivors following the release of the movie, and someone had tweeted, "It's just so obvious what he's doing, it's a shame everyone is gullible as hell on the internet." I feel like this "look at me, I'm the nice guy" act, plus the reports coming out that he thought so highly of just himself, proves that he has an hidden agenda, or he wasn't the best to work with and he's trying to cover his tracks. I agree with him that the way the movie rolled out was a mess, and maybe Blake shouldn't have thought she was the next Steven Spielberg, but it's people like Justin who take on such important roles, such as starring, directing, and producing all in one, who make others around them feel incompetent. I'm not saying he did this exactly, but the reports are out there saying that he was borderline abusive on the work set. This is just a general description of how people act in the real world, and if your boss or friend can act like this, what makes you think an actor won't? And maybe he's not naturally like this. Maybe he's doing it to spite Blake and Ryan, to continue pushing the criticism they're getting and the support he's getting. Whatever it may be, I'm just not buying his act either. Justin's former co-stars Tiffany and Caleb Remington defended him on TikTok. Tiffany said, "I don't know the behind the scenes, so I can't comment on that, but what I do have an opinion on is the person that Justin Baldoni is. That he is truly the caring man that you perceive him to be." Then she gives an example about how she and her husband were invited to the reshoot of the film 5 Feet Apart because her husband has cystic fibrosis and he wanted to make sure that whatever they were shooting in the hospital was a true depiction of what it looks like for other patients. It was nice of Tiffany to reach out and be like, no, he actually cares, I mean, look at what he did for this shoot. But it does further the fact that Justin as a director likes to be taken very seriously, he likes to be in charge, and Blake trying to challenge that further pissed him off into a headspace where he thought he knew better than all, and Blake is just some cable TV show actress playing director. Which I agree with to some extent. Tiffany goes on to say that if there were creative differences, it would have to be in the approach Ryan and Blake tried to take on the movie set. She said, "They're forcing it to be something that it's not. Like a light, airy rom-com, Eras Tour, grab your girls. This isn't the type of subject that is being talked about in the book or the movie." I laughed when she said Eras Tour because Blake has been Taylor's friend for a while now, but she's acting as if their friendship just happened a few months ago. It's kind of annoying because their friendship seems insufferable. It's giving millennials trying to play 16-year-old it girls.
She was with me on this experience the whole time.
You know, she's a person who shows up for you, and I'm so grateful to have that love and that support.
Are you responsible for getting that Taylor song in the trailer?
I mean, you know, just Reputation. That's what I listen to. Every character's playlist is Reputation.
I think that Taylor Swift shouldn't perform Love Story as part of her Eras tour.
You just hate like happiness or like joy or just your ears? You don't like your ears?
Blake Lively's tone-deaf comments. There was already criticism when Blake was picked to be Lily Bloom because most people were not picturing someone much older than the actual characters, and one who dressed like she was stuck in the time zone for the wardrobe of the Disney Channel show Shake It Up.
There seems to be a theme among many movies that have a quirky or different character, and in order to convey that, they feel the need to style them in such an extreme, over-the-top way.
The criticisms were furthered when Blake was completely tone-deaf about the entire movie's theme and its strong topics. The first tone-deaf moment was when she promoted her new hairline on the red carpet during the movie tour. First, as a celebrity, it is their job to promote. So when you're on a big press tour, you're gonna want to attach your name to another one of your big projects as well. But many people didn't take it well. Now, I don't think this would have been a huge issue had we not had so many other tone-deaf moments to fall back on. Another reason people didn't take it well was because Blake's hair in the movie doesn't even look good. Lily Bloom is supposed to be a redhead who kind of resembles this type of person, and here we have Blake with her hair that purposefully looks like it wasn't done well. The second annoying tone-deaf moment is when Blake said that she handpicked many of her outfits and said that the clothes were hers as well as her friends such as Gigi Hadid.
Those boots.
Those are my boots. Those boots are so good.
Those are my real life boots. A lot of it's my real life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some.
This made everyone roll their eyes because Blake is insufferably name-dropping, and the worst part is the clothes she made sucked. They went viral on social media for the wrong reasons.
Hey, Lily.
You want to do the honors?
No, you go ahead. I need to take it in from here.
Hey, Lily, you want to do the honors?
No, you go ahead. I need to take it in from here.
Hey, Lily, you want to do the honors?
No, you go ahead. I need to take it in from here.
Not to mention, she's so big about wardrobe and clothes, but had a condescending meltdown when the interviewer from 2016 asked her about her wardrobe for a movie set in the 1900s. But we'll get to that in part 2.
Gorgeous. Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, working in
Everyone
digital...
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
Then when it came time to promote the movie, everyone said Blake was trying to have her it girl all pink Barbie summer when she told moviegoers,
so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out.
Blake was going around town acting as if the movie wasn't about literal b****s, and she was bouncing around with her funny outfits and undone hair talking about wear your florals to the theater.
So grab your friends, wear your florals.
And if you're wondering why it's florals, it's because, and hold your laugh, Lily Bloom owns a flower shop. That's like telling people going to see Annabelle, bring your creepy childhood dolls to the theater. You see, it makes sense for Barbie because Barbie has a whole aesthetic, franchise, and history. Someone owning a flower shop in a movie doesn't suddenly garner flower promotion. Another thing Blake did that ticked people off was when she wore an iconic Britney Spears outfit on the red carpet, which only fueled the wannabe Barbie marketing more, considering Margot Robbie had made so many headlines when she showed up in iconic archival Barbie looks. Also, by this time, people were not pleased by Blake and her too cool to function attitude, and seeing her rock an iconic Britney look only pissed people off more because it fueled Blake's "I know, right? I'm so cool" attitude.
We have somebody here.
What the heck?
Fashionably, like literally more than like, that's it. We're on the first question. Look how cute my cup is. We're on the first question. Look how cute my cup is.
She even told a fan, "Wait till you see my dress tomorrow," talking about the Britney look.
It looks like my dress tomorrow night. It's giving the jewel, and I love that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. When you see my dress, you're gonna be even more excited.
I get it, she's excited. It was cute, but again, it just wasn't the stress moment or the hair care promotion. It was a bunch of things piling up on top of each other, and it made her look so annoying. And the only reason she was this annoying, mind you, is because this is her first big movie out in a while, if not ever. Like I said previously, I liked Blake. I still like her, but now she has to get a good scandalous media humbling because I hated her entire attitude during this era. It's giving Taylor Swift dancing on and off stage, thinking she's doing a good job, when in reality it's killing you to keep watching.
What has been the best part in making this particular movie?
I've noticed so many beautiful crystals on teeth. Why is Deadpool Wolverine sold out? I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm like having a stroke and everyone's teeth are like super shiny and amazing. Lily Bloom is, oh look at me in flowers, Lily Bloom. Well, I'm not the type of actor who can act without producing, you know?
Blake never had a big movie ever. All she had was a fancy husband, starring in huge movies, and her name attached to the iconic Gossip Girl TV show that resurfaces every fall. She's an A-list actress because her name is A-list, not necessarily because she was in blockbuster movies. I think she wasn't aware of how annoying she was going to come off, because if she was, then she would have realized not to do this.
So sorry that we're late. I'm late because I lost my mom. So if anybody watching is in Barcelona and can return my mom to me, the good news is she also lost her. Coming around like, where's my mom?
Okay. I watched A Simple Favor and The Age of Adeline. I loved both movies, but they weren't Barbie, Hunger Games, Marvel, Twilight, or Harry Potter type movies, you know? Blake took her chance at starring in a pretty big movie, and she was insufferable to say the least. The film's rollout was ruined by how she answered interview questions. One interview that annoyed people was when the interviewer asked her how she would react to someone who sees her in real life and wants to talk about the movie and its heavy themes. She answered in a way that is so off-putting that I genuinely have no idea what she's saying.
This movie is going to affect people and they're going to want to tell you about their lives. What's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you.
Her co-star who plays Atlas, aka her first love in the film, looks at the camera in such a sarcastic, "oh here she goes again" way that you can't tell me half this cast can't stand her. Then more interviews come out, and it shows the obvious take, which is that Blake does not know how to answer simple questions about the movie. People even questioned if she read the book. She repeats the same paragraph that she was told to memorize, and when talking about DV survivors, she gives an answer that shows she's putting a band-aid on a scar.
What is the message that you hope that they take away from it?
I think that you are so much, and not to minimize it anyway, but you're so much more than just a survivor or just a victim. Well, that is a huge thing. You are a person of multitudes, and what someone has done to you doesn't define you. You define you, and what you have in you and what you're capable of, and what you have done and are doing and will do is so much bigger than anything anyone else can do to you. Not just a survivor, and she's not just a victim. And while those are huge things to be, they're not her identity. She's not defined by something that someone else did to her or an event that happened to her, even if it's multiple events. She defines herself.
And that's what life is. It's highs and lows, and it's messy, and I think that that captures the human experience so well. And
Emotional, and it's fun, and it's funny, and it's painful, and it's scary, and it's tragic, and it's inspiring, and that's what life is.
It's a lot of, it doesn't define you, and you were so much more than that. And it's like, okay, thanks, but let's not act as if the effects of DV are some cupcake side effects, because people who have gone through that type of abuse shouldn't have to hear some cupcake explanation about how it doesn't define who you are and it doesn't change things. Because it doesn't define who you are, but there are definitely changes. It's a real and serious issue, and you wouldn't want a survivor to hear Blake's take on the whole thing and think, well, does this mean I'm not healed? Because Blake's over here putting bandages on scars, hoping for the best. Her answers are simple and dismissive. She's talking about a heavy subject in the worst superficial way possible. It's like, sorry you went through that, but hey, now you get to wear a floral dress, have a laugh, and come see the movie. The book and the title of the movie showcase how hard it is to leave a situation like that and to break generational cycles, hence why it ends with us. Mind you, Lily has a daughter with Ryle, so there's even more emphasis on it ends with us. Blake says that her character's identity isn't defined by what she goes through, which is great and all, but it misses the mark about the central idea of the book, which is how hard it is to leave a situation like that, especially when kids are involved, but you can break the cycle eventually. Someone said, "It meant a lot to me to feel seen in some ways by viewing my trauma in the movie. I am not defined by it, but I am not who I was before it, and it's sad to see it glossed over. They can coexist." The final blow on Blake's tone-deaf era comes from an unexpected source. Zoe 101 star Alexa Nicholas calls out Blake and the entire movie for using music made by her abusive ex-husband. Yup, Alexa calls It Ends With Us a complete disaster and shame, criticizing the film for including a song by her ex-husband, Mike Milosh. Alexa, who previously accused Mike of abuse and grooming, expressed her shock and dismay at his music being featured in a film centered on abuse. Alexa said, "I can't say enough how disappointed I am in at Blake Lively and at It Ends With Us movie. Not only has your rollout of this film been a complete disaster and shame, but you also put my known abuser/groomer's music in your film. There is physical evidence of him grooming me when he was 33 and I was 16. It's easily accessible on the internet, sadly, since I had to also take on the emotional labor of exposing Rye with evidence. It's also a very public lawsuit that goes into great detail what he did to me. Shame on this film." Yikes. I mean, who would have thought that one's bringing Johnny Depp's crisis manager and the other one's putting a known abuser's music in a movie about abuse? It's just a disaster. As much as we support Alexa and cheer her on for speaking about these things publicly, some people have brought to my attention that Alexa Nicholas has a very toxic way of shoving herself down every situation and trying to hop on relevancy whenever she can, with talking about the Quiet on Set documentary on YouTube using clickbait titles and now jumping on this drama. Many people even criticize Alexa's need to force fellow Zoe 101 co-star Matthew Underwood to come out and also share his story dealing with being a child star and the trauma he faced. It doesn't stop there. Alexa's been criticized before for trying to profit off victim stories because she released themed merch after the Quiet on Set documentary came out, where she had shirts that said Sickolodian instead of Nickelodeon. When responding to the drama, Alexa pulled We Can All Sing by saying, "Nickelodeon was my childhood trauma too, BTW. I got exploited as a child while in a toxic work environment, and that company made millions of dollars off us kids. So do with that information as you would." Back to Blake being annoying, she was in charge of getting some songs to create a Spotify playlist for It Ends With Us, and she said, "I was asked to include a few songs. I included 100 songs. It's giving, oh my god, I'm so crazy, right?" She continues on mentioning Ryan Reynolds again, saying, "And my husband and I both help each other so much with music. We're like uncredited music supervisors on each other's movies. I mean, you can see all of that with Deadpool and Wolverine, all that millennial girl music." That's the issue with you and Ryan. Because why do you two need to be so intertwined in movies that have nothing to do with you guys' relationship? She took her role so seriously that even when she was begged to take a song out of the film, she refused.
I did also scream when I heard Cherry by Lana Del Rey.
Right?
Yeah.
They begged me to take that song out of the movie.
Why?
I'm not supposed to be talking about this. But
what's so annoying about Blake is that she has no credentials in producing movies. All she has is a few A-lister friends, an A-lister husband, and a popular name. Colleen made Blake feel like she was the next Meryl Streep, and it all got to her head. The fact that Blake isn't really a producer, let alone a great actress, and she chose songs to go into the film, had scenes rewritten, chose her own goofy outfits, it was just like, it's a serious production that became an immature show. That being said, Blake added Lana Del Rey's song Cherry in the film at a scene where the cast and crew told her it doesn't fit. Blake says, "They begged me to take it out." Just from her words alone, you can tell she took her own opinion over everyone else, and like I said before, she's not a producer, so to how she thought she had the credentials to take things out, add things in, is just annoying. Not only did you Serena Woodsen the whole character, you talk in a way that shows you didn't decide to pay attention to other details said to you by your castmates and crew. The issue with Blake is that she is so unqualified in many parts of this movie, and she only got a massive role in both starring and producing because she's Blake Lively. Once loved for her banter with Ryan Reynolds, but it looks like banter alone isn't some rare talent that suddenly gives you knowledge on how to make a film look good. She dressed herself, did her own hair, didn't give us anything new with her acting, put in songs that didn't need to be there, didn't even have the decency to take them out when the crew asked her to, gave superficial answers about serious questions, overtook interviews by trying to bring that banter to real life, but it didn't stick since everyone around her looked super annoyed by her, and God knows what else she did. And I have to say it, I'm sorry, but I find her being friends with Taylor Swift has rubbed off on Blake. It's not that I think Blake was some perfect angel before this, I mean, we all saw the interview from 2016, but this is exactly how Taylor Swift acts. It's the same tactic Taylor Swift uses when she gets criticized for valid things and then plays the, "Oh, would you ask a man that" game. Yes, you're just insufferable. You'd be the same amount of insufferable had you been a man. Was Blake Lively a good Lily Bloom? Criticism and more. Many fans of the book pointed out that Blake wasn't a good Lily Bloom. This one fan said, "If you ask me about It Ends With Us, I'd say I'm disappointed. But if you ask me on a deeper level, I'd say Blake Lively ruined the movie for me. The fake laughs, the awful outfits, the unbrushed hair. She's so out of touch with the character at numerous points, and the movie was uncomfortable to watch because of it. The male actors were so good that it made how bad she was stand out so much more." Wow. I think that pretty much summed up how a lot of people felt about Blake in the movie. People were even saying that Colleen Hoover was just so starstruck by Blake that she allowed her to do whatever she wanted with the role in movie, because clearly the Lily Bloom portrayal was extremely off-putting and the casting just wasn't done well. Blake, at 37 years old, is playing a 23-year-old girl, and don't get me wrong, she's stunning. I've always found her to be beautiful. But what 23-year-old girl who just got out of college is dressing and looking like this? It seemed as if Colleen was more excited about having Blake in the movie than she was about picking a good lead to play Lily. Blake's popularity skyrocketed as she's been involved in many events that deal with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. She was with Taylor at many of Travis's games, including the Super Bowl, and it attached her face and name to the attention that came from Travis and Taylor's relationship. Her friendship with Taylor is just as corny as her actions in her recent interviews. And if you kept up with Blake before, you would see that there is a difference in how obnoxious she's become. And I'm not fully blaming Taylor for it, but you are who your besties are, and these two are pretty obnoxious. The funniest part is, due to the drama surrounding the film, Taylor has stayed completely quiet about the film coming out, and instead of supporting Blake the way she does whenever a friend has a new project coming out, she went ghost, just like she does on everything else. Blake's backlash got so big that now sources from Ryan's side are saying he's trying to salvage her fall from grace so it doesn't turn out to be an Ellen DeGeneres situation where someone once so loved faces a huge scandal after another and is now very disliked, if not even hated. The source told Life and Style, Ryan is deeply invested in helping Blake navigate the situation. With his keen eye for branding and his ability to turn any situation into a winning moment. You're trying to tell me Ryan Reynolds himself did not write that? Ryan is working closely with Blake's team to reframe her public image in light of these troubling allegations. Sources continued saying that Blake is in a frantic state and a state of panic, leaning on bestie Taylor to help get her through. Sounds like Taylor's publicist came through saying, Taylor's been a rock for Blake. She's calling and texting all the time to cheer her up, and reminding her not to let all the negativity get her down. It's par for the course when you make a big impact, the insider said. Having Taylor's backing means the world to Blake, and just proves she's the kind of friend who's there through thick and thin. Yeah, I'm guessing both Ryan and Blake wrote this together. Taylor is connected to It Ends With Us with her songs My Tears Ricochet appearing at a key moment in the movie. However, while it appears she's been supporting Blake privately, she's yet to speak out about the movie publicly. Crazy. Because Blake made sure to add Taylor's song in the movie, yet Taylor made sure to stay silent, not even exercising the thought of defending Blake's character publicly. I guess both Blake and Ryan know it's better to stay on Taylor's good side than her bad side. Anyway, that's a wrap for the It Ends With Us drama. What do you guys think about this whole thing coming down and being talked about in public? I'm sure many movie sets have had their own issues, but maybe not many pull a "Don't worry, darling" and bring those issues to the public. Did you guys like Blake before this drama, or did you never really care for her? Do you have your own explanations for what you think went down? How do you feel about Justin Baldoni? Do you think he's innocently doing his part, or is there a secret hidden agenda there as well? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, go check out our merch, stay tuned for part 2 of Blake's mean girl persona, and as always, I'll see you next time.